YouTubes! Welcome back, Haunt fam. As you guys might have seen, I like to build custom nutcrackers. I take existing store-bought ones and I turn them into little creepy monsters. So today is no different. I want to build this guy a bride. Frankie's a little lonely. He's been hanging around for a couple of years by himself, so we're going to fix that today. And today we're going to build a Bride of Frankenstein custom nutcracker. Okay, YouTube, so we need a bride for our Frankenstein. We're going right back to 1935, Elsa Lanchester. She was a silver screen hottie. We got to make her equally hot for Frankie here. So we've got 3 little victims here. I want to pick one that's nice and scale to him. That's not bad. Might be a little too tall. With a big head. This guy had a baseball cap on, but he has no head. I don't know what I use that for. Little golfer guy here. That's not bad. I kind of like him. We can make Bride of Frankenstein's little dome of hair, and I think I'm going to keep her in the color tradition versus the black and white, just to kind of match this Frankenstein. I already don't like her base, so we're going to do some deconstruction, and we're going to stick to basically just wooden byproducts, what we use for mostly traditional for the nutcrackers. So these guys are out, and this is going to be our Elsa. So, a lot of times I go to Michael's and I'll pick up a stack of these little bases, you guys. You know, they all seen them there. They're like $2.99. You can buy a bag of them, whatever. I want to keep something similar to Frankenstein's base. And it looks like this one's pretty similar. Alright, that's perfect. This is going to be our new base for Elsa here. So we'll get rid of these guys. Save those other projects. I've got paint sticks if we need them. I usually use these for noses or for ears. You know, you can glue them right on. And I've got a whole bunch of leftover parts if we need them. You can see I've done a couple of nutcrackers and we got a whole lot of odds and ends left over. Now, traditionally, I don't like using these bases because they're MDF. Look at that crap. They're going to swell up in the shed, or they're going to swell up and get water, and they're going to, you know, come apart. So I don't really like using these things. So I usually go to a pine one, and because I want it to match Frankenstein's, I'm going to go ahead and draw some bricks out, and then I'll go ahead and use like a die grinder or a Dremel, and I'm going to go ahead and Dremel that guy out so we can have our base match Frankenstein's. So I'll just do some little brick patterns here. We'll stagger them, and then whatever I decide to die grind out, do a little short one there, do a big block here. Alright, something like that. I'll die grind those guys out, and then I'll open them up just to look just like Frankenstein's base. So we know this is going to be our bride's base, this is going to be our bride. Let's get rid of this little goofy golfer guy. I want both of her arms like reaching up for Frankenstein, so I'll probably build her new arms out of dowels if I can't find one. This arm's fine. If I can match another arm, that'd be great, something like this. Here we go. Alright, cool, so now we got our arms. So, we got all these excess pieces. Let's break this little goofy golfer guy down. Come on, Frankie, take a back seat. So we got an arm, and if not, I'll usually just buy dowel rods, and I can just cut them. And you can use balls for hands, wooden balls. Hobby Lobby has them all the time. So, we're going to get rid of his little golf sack. Oh, cobwebs, Jesus Christ, this guy is on there. Alright, goofy golf sticks. We're going to keep this arm, that's not a problem. We're going to pull it off anyways, because I want to be able to wrap this with all our bandages and stuff, and we'll get to that. But first we got to kind of rough her out. So, as you can see, look at that. It's pegged in there, but it's garbage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to 1/4 inch dowel right through this and drill into the body, and these will be our arms for Bride of Frankenstein. So you see how easily these come apart, okay? And this will be our new arm. We'll save this one. So we got our arms. We're good. I do like keeping a functional mouth. And I'm not going to put teeth in her. I'm going to put those big juicy red lips on there. Most of my nutcrackers I put the teeth in, like Frankenstein here. Or I'll make zombie teeth or whatever, depending on what kind of creature they are. But I always like to keep them operational. So come on, Frankie. Alright. I'm going to knock this base off. We got a little golf ball here. Let me see how easy this come off. Alrighty. Heck, we're in business. All I gotta do is peel all this fur off. I'll get the heat gun out. And I think what I'm gonna do is... Where's that marker at? Right here. We're gonna keep her legs, because you won't see them. They'll be mostly under a gown and wraps. So, but I do want to definitely keep her nose and shorten it. I want to give her that little ski jump nose that Elsa has. So I'll grind this down. Give her a little ski jump. So I'll save the nose. Usually I just knock it right off with a hammer. I'm going to lose this visor. I'm going to smooth her head out and contour it. You know, I want her cheekbones in there. I don't want a mustache for her. So I'm going to clean all this crap up. We'll bust off all the little rhinestones and stuff and basically just strip her down and get it all sanded down with just a grinder. I can either use a 5-inch grinder or I can use a small angle grinder. Anything works. Just to roughen that shape, and I go right with 80 grit because 80 grit will be covered by spray paint sand scratch. I'm going to paint her kind of an off-white. So now that we got it, before I start destroying everything, I'm going to take that visor off. I'll use this will be her hair, her big bouffant. So I want to keep her eyes marked out now. So I'm going to grab a drill. And since her eyes are there, that's not a bad place. I might move them in a hair a bit because I want her to look more feminine. So I'm going to go ahead and drill her eyes out. Come on now, brother. Alright, got one more side. And I may go deeper later, not sure. Rock it around a little bit. Alright, so I'll probably do either little balls for her eyes, or I'm not sure. Maybe I'll use cabochons, but I'll paint over them. I don't want big bug eyes on her. So I'm going to go ahead and start roughing her out. I'm going to get the grinder going. I'm going to shave her all down. I'm going to shave her nose down, give her a nice little cute profile. I'm going to get this ratty ass hair off. Usually a heat gun will remove most of the glue. And then I'm going to pick some eyeballs out for her. So when we come back, she should be ready to basically start painting white. Okay, YouTubes, we're back. The bride's all ready to go. I'm going to drop in some progress pics and show you guys what she looked like while I was working on her. Alright guys, so the bride herself, I went ahead and stripped off most of the red paint. We're going to base her out in a white color, kind of an off-white. It'll be like a light pale flesh tone, I think, which would be cool on her. So basically all the green here is just body filler. I went ahead and shaved her hair back. I put some ears on, glued some boobage on her. Basically sanded her out. I knocked the front down to give her that slimmer female profile. Even though she's going to be wearing a robe, we're going to wrap her in bandages. I still want her to look the part. I gave her a little ski jump nose. And I shaved down her chin so that it doesn't look all blocky like one of these guys back here. I think I'm ready to base her out. I went ahead and did the base. I went ahead and grilled it out like I told you. I think I did Frankenstein's in the same flat red primer, which is more of a brown color. And then I went ahead and just painted the top with some extra colors to make it look more like a castle. So I'm going to try and paint this to match that. I also got some little slippers for her. I cut these out of a paint stick, so once we stick her in her base, these guys will get glued down right in front of her, and we'll paint these white as well when I base her out. Her arms are basically ready to go. She drops right in her little stand. Her arms I went ahead and drilled out, and I took just a dollar store shish kebab stick, and I made a little thumb right there for her, so we'll wrap the little wrappings around her thumb. But I'm going to base all her body parts in white. And I think what I'm going to do is, I really like I don't want to do a black and white version of her. I really like the color of the colorized version of her. And since Frankenstein's got color, I'm going to try and get closer to this with like the red-orange hair. And I just think that's super cool. I love that version of her. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to base these guys out. But first, I want to put those rictus scars around her ears. She's got those scars that run from her ears to under her chin. So it's like this to her ear, and then down by her chin, and then she's got little cross hatches, and she's got them on both sides. So they don't have to be perfect, but something like that. And I figured to do this, same as I did Frankenstein over here, I'm going to put the little scars in with this tool engraver. So if you guys have tools, you guys write your names on them, your dad's a mechanic or something like that, they have these little engraving pens that are real cheap. I think this is actually a Harbor Freight one. It's got a little thing on the back for power. It's like a little tattoo gun, and it's got a tiny little tip on there, and you use that to write your name on tools and stuff. So it goes all the way up to a 6. We're not going to go that high because this is cheap pine. So I'm going to go ahead and try and trace these in with the etching gun. So let's do that. Because after that's done, I'm going to go ahead and base her out. I'm going to base the plaque out, her pieces and stuff, and we're going to start throwing some details on this girl. There we go. Gonna follow my line. little cross hatches in. Okay, YouTube. So I got the base done. It's all based out in that brick red color, that primer. It looks like my original Frankenstein. I went ahead and I just blacked out all the little spaces in between the stones. Not a big deal. So I'm going to go ahead and knock this whole base out. I'm going to black out all the little spaces in between the stones. Wipe that off. And it looks like I know I've got some brick red in there, a little bit of orange. So I'm going to go ahead and knock this out, and then we're going to start back on the bride. We're going to start wrapping her bandages around on her. Okay, YouTube, so our bride is done. I got the base done. I think they were good. Basically just 3 colors and a little bit of black in between the grout lines. Looks just like Frankenstein's does, so I'm happy with that. So I'm going to call her base done. The bride is all based out. She's dry, or she's drying. Her slippers are painted. Those will be ready to go on and glue once we get her on her stand. And the next thing I want to do is I want to start wrapping her. So I've got a sleeve off an old coat for her dress. That'll be her little smock that she wears. We'll save that for last. And I did find this cool stuff. It's a bed skirt. The stuff that dust ruffle hangs under your bed. Well, this is that little, basically, the in-between part that sits under your mattresses. I thought it was pretty good. It looked like gauze. I didn't want to use actual Band-Aid bandages like from Walgreens or whatever. So I went ahead and just cut a whole bunch of strips. I'm going to tear them off one by one. And the arms I'm going to wrap separately. The body I'll do next. And this stuff is so easy you can just pop it off. Basically all I'm going to do, because the arms are easier to do, is complete assembly and then glue onto her body. So that way I don't have to try and wrap arms in her body and get up along under her side and stuff. So this is the easiest way to do it. And I don't need a lot of glue because I just need a shot to basically get it started, because we can heat gun this and shrink it. And then we're going to go back and we're going to distress a little bit, put some RIT dye on there to dirty it up a little bit because they're going to be way too clean. And then we're going to matte clear it when we're done, and that'll lock everything into position because it'll be like a glue basically. So I'm just going to basically start with a little shot of Super 77. I'm going to let that tack up. Oh no. And then I'm just going to go around, and I'm going to wrap her whole arm. Want to make sure I get some nice good coverage. Like I said, it ain't got to be perfect. We can heat gun it tight. And that's why I based everything out in white, so you don't see the old nutcracker colors underneath it. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap her arms. I'm going to wrap the whole bride, get her ready to go. And then we'll glue her arms on. I need to make her hairline. And I'm going to start putting her hair color on. And then we got to make those little white, shocks of hair, those little trademark for the bride. So I'm going to go ahead and get her wrapped. And when we come back, we're going to start hammering on details on the girl. Alright, YouTube, so our bride is all wrapped. I went ahead and heat gunned her a little bit, opened up her mouth a little bit. All I got to do is run a razor blade down the back so her mouth will open. I think I'm ready to go ahead and glue her into place. Like I said, her arms are done. They're good to go. So I'm just going to go ahead and use E6000. I'll put a little bit in the holes. And this stuff is clear, so if it squeezes out past her heels, it ain't going to matter. Alright, let's stab her into place. Come on, bride. Wiggle her down in there. Let her seat. Alright, let's go ahead and glue her feet on. Just a little dab on the back. I got a little bit of blue tack left on there, no big deal. Like I said, we can just set it on the brick. And just squeeze it into place. There we go. Something like so. And we'll do the other one. Alright, just a little dab. Get it in there. Alright, put this foot on. Little slippers. Alright, let's rock it into place. Alright, cool. I'm going to go ahead and glue her arms on. I'm going to pick a set of eyes out for her. Same thing, I want to fill that little post up. This way they won't come off. That's why I went ahead and glued the 1/4-inch rod in place so if she ever falls, arms won't snap off. Alright, and I want her arms kind of up like she's reaching for Frankenstein since he's taller than her. We'll wiggle that around. Alright, I'm going to glue her other arm on. I'm going to pick out a set of eyes, and we're going to mark out her hairline and start on that hair. Knock out some details. Okay, YouTube, we're back. We got this old girl wrapped up. I'm pretty happy with all her bandages. Her mouth still works, which is great. I went ahead and I drew in her hairline, her eyelashes. We're going to put some ruby smackers on her because Elsa Lanchester had some pretty big ruby lips. So I think the next thing we do, we're going to move on to her little smock. But she's so clean right now. I want the bandages to be kind of dirty. So I've got this dirt spray, which is a movie paint, and we're going to try this and see if we can't dirty up them bandages a little bit, make her dirty. So let's do a test panel on this real fast and see. I've never used this stuff yet. I have no idea how bad it's going to be. Let's see, here's some of the fabric left over from her bandages. Let's see. Is it too dirty or not? Oh, it's not bad. It's a little transparent, so that's cool. So it gives her a little bit of grime. I wonder if I could kind of rub that in. Let's try this. Rub that into her bandages, make her look a little bit dirty. Oh yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Let's go ahead and get some stank on her. I'm going to try not to hit her face. Let's do this. Sorry, darling. We got to keep it clean up in the face. Alright. So this is pretty transparent. A little dirty. Well, can you hit the base? Ain't going to hurt anything. Alright. Probably won't see much of her anyways because, like I said, she's going to be under her little smock. But I like this because it gives it some contrast. We'll just go ahead and rub this in. Oh yeah, it looks pretty cool. Give her a little dirty and grimy. I like it. That's perfect. Maybe I'll do her legs a little more. Little slippers down here. Wipe those off. Alright, cool. Let's get her head back open. Come on now, girl. I'm going to pop her nose off. Alright, that's cool. Okay, I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this sleeve off of that old lab coat I had. I'm going to cut this down. I'll make two little ties over the shoulders. And I'm going to make her a little dress. I'll probably distress a little bit, maybe throw some of this same old dirt spray on there, which is actually pretty cool. And then when we come back, we're going to finish these details. We're going to finish her. We're going to do her eyebrows. And for all that stuff, we're going to use good old fabric paint, dimensional fabric paint. So we'll be back in a second. Okay, YouTubes, we got our bride's little smock done. I kind of shredded it. I got a bigger slit in the back so we can easily operate her mouth. I got it shredded. I didn't go ahead and put any dirt spray on because I kind of like the contrast between the brighter white and the darker, dirtier bandages. So far I'm happy with her. I think what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and base her hair out in this pumpkin orange. And then we're going to go in and finish the details. We're going to call this girl done. So I'm going to go ahead and just use painter's tape because it's nice and soft. Shouldn't pull any of the details off this spray paint from basing her out. So I'm going to go ahead and mask her and paint her hair on, guys. Okay, YouTubes, her hair is all painted in. You know I hate waiting, so it's a little bit wet. Let's go pull this tape and see what she looks like. Come on, bride. Oh, that's cool. Okay, almost done. Let's use some of this tulip dimensional paint. We're gonna put them ruby soup colors on here. Boy, Elsa Lanchester had a set of lips on her, so we're gonna give our bride the same. You can see I have sort of a Cupid's bow kind of filed into her lips, top and bottom. So we're gonna follow that line. I'm gonna lay her back, and we're gonna use this dimensional paint to make her lips. Alright, come here, bride. Let me see. Just like that. I'm going to stretch it out. And I'm going to do her bottom lip. Alright. We're going to let that dry for a little bit. And then we're going to go ahead, we're going to use the black. And we're going to knock out her eyebrows and her eyelashes. Okay, YouTubes, let's use our dimensional tulip paint. Let's go ahead and put our eyebrows on and our eyelashes. Hopefully we don't screw this up. Alright, and I'm going to just put some little eyelashes on her since she had really long lashes in the movie. Just going to stab in, pull out. I'm going to go back at the very end and repaint these eyes and pop them white. So I'm going to do the other side. We're going to finish her hair. We're going to call this girl done. Okay, YouTube. So we're going to use our tulip white dimensional paint. Then we're going to put Elsa's white wavy shock in her, sort of her signature look. We're just going to use a tulip paint to do that. I'm just going to start it here at her temple. And I'm just going to make waves all the way around the back of her head. It goes right above her temple. Ain't got to be perfect. We can let it skin up. We could do it in another wave. And I'm going to go back do her other side. And once her other side's done, I'm going to go back overall, and I'm going to do her forehead in waves this way, because her hair sort of has a pattern that sort of waves back. So we're going to use the orange paint to do that. So when I come back, her hair is going to be done. I'm going to do her last little looks and tweak her, and we're going to see her with her man. Okay, YouTubes, our bride is done. Last thing I did was put a little piece of felt. It's self-stick felt on the bottom, so when she's on furniture or something, she's not going to scratch anything with a wooden base. I went ahead and I painted her eyes bright white, hit it with a little bit of varnish, and she's done. She's still operational, she works. I went ahead and I used the fabric paint, got all her hair in, just kind of drew lines in and made her little shocks of white on the sides, all fabric paint. We beat up her dress a little bit. She's got some little dirty bandages on, a little dirty girl. But yeah, she's operational, man. I love her. That's cool. So we finally got a bride for Frankenstein himself. I think proportionally they look pretty good. So I'm happy to have her done finally. I've been missing this one for a while. I've got 2 more in the background, so we can do 2 more. So if you guys have any ideas, hit me in the comments below. Let me know what you'd like to see. But yeah, I think this guy finally got his girl. Alright, big boy, your castle or mine? I just think she's cool, man. I dig it. So now I got the pair finally, so I appreciate you guys watching this and seeing this build. I'm sure it was kind of a long one, but I'm more than happy to have a bride to match up with Frankenstein. They're matching bases. I think she came out really cool. She's not exactly like Elsa Lanchester in 1935 Bride of Frankenstein, but man, I think they look good together. So if you guys get a chance, go check out my brothers in the Trio of Terror. Vic over at Monster Misfits and Dave at the Weird Kid Show channel. Guys, it's season time for us, man. We are back at it. We're building Halloween and creepy projects as much as we can. We can't wait to get busy, get cracking again. As soon as the warm weather starts to warm up, we can get back on our bigger projects. So I appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you next time. Until I see you then, keep it evil. Brains. Knock it off, asshole. I'm your wife.